For centuries before London became the global city it is today, its fate hung on the oars and axes of seafaring warriors from Scandinavia, the Vikings. These Norse raiders, fierce, cunning, and relentless, sailed along the coasts and rivers of Britain, repeatedly striking at the heart of Anglo-Saxon England. This video dives deep into how the Vikings attacked, besieged, and at times temporarily occupied what is now London. We'll explore their culture, their weapons, their strategy, and how London survived. Who were the Vikings? Let's look at their culture, ships, and weapons. The Vikings weren't just raiders, they were seafarers, traders, explorers, and settlers from across Scandinavia, Denmark, Norway, Sweden. Their longships were a technological marvel, shallow draft, swift, able to sail across oceans or slip up narrow rivers. That allowed them to strike deep into Britain, far beyond just the coast. As warriors, they used a mix of weapons, longships for mobility, axes, swords, spears, bows, shields, all well adapted to raiding, close combat, and sieges. This made them terrifying to unprepared towns. Their society valued mobility, loot, reputation, and martial prowess, a sharp contrast to the settled, agrarian Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. How did the Viking threat come to London between the years 842 and 1016? London, then the trading town of Lundenwic, near where Aldwych stands today, suffered its first recorded major Viking raid in 842 CE. In 851, some 350 Viking longships raided both Canterbury and London. They came, struck fast, looted, and left, typical Viking raids. From 865, the Vikings changed tactics. The Great Heathen Army landed in East Anglia and began large-scale campaigns of conquest rather than mere raiding. Over the following decades, Viking forces captured vast territories in northern and eastern England, Northumbria, East Anglia, and parts of Mercia. London lay on the edge of this turmoil. But London itself proved difficult to hold. The old Roman walls, the shifting population, and changing political dynamics meant the city was repeatedly attacked, occupied, abandoned, and reclaimed. There was a key moment in 886 CE when the Anglo-Saxon king Alfred the Great pushed Vikings out and re-established the city within the old Roman walls. That fortified settlement, dubbed Lundenburg, became London's core once again. This restored city formed the foundation of modern London. But the raids didn't end. Throughout the 900s and into the 1000s, Viking attacks resumed, including sieges, attempts at conquest, and political maneuvering. The Danish king Sweyn Forkbeard and later his son Cnut the Great ruled England, including London, briefly after forceful campaigns. In many cases the change in control came less through iconic pitched battles and more through sieges, ransom, political pressure, and shifting alliances. So, the Vikings never truly took London once and for all, but for centuries they threatened, occupied, plundered, and influenced its fate. What if the Vikings had taken London? Had the Vikings fully consolidated control of London early on, the map of Britain might look very different today. Instead of a Saxon base pushing back, you could have a Norse-ruled mercantile city on the Thames, a hub for trade between Scandinavia and England. But their failure to hold London showed the limits of Viking power. London's walls, its shifting population, and its strategic location allowed it to survive. Nonetheless, over time, Vikings who settled in England began to influence culture. Scandinavian settlers blended with Anglo-Saxons, adopting and contributing to society, language, trade, and local governance. By the time of the Norman conquest in 1066, England had already undergone centuries of Norse influence in law, trade, genetics, and culture. London's history isn't just Roman, Norman, or Shakespearean. It is Norse. It is Viking. For hundreds of years, the greatest warriors of Scandinavia sailed up the Thames, knocked on the gates of Lundenburg, and tested the strength of the walls. But London endured, rebuilt, refortified, and reimagined, becoming a city shaped by resilience, adaptation, and cultural fusion. When you walk through London today, beneath the skyscrapers and buzzing traffic, you walk on the bones of Viking drums and Saxon shields. The story of the Vikings in London is a story of ambition, brutality, settlement, and survival.